Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So in this series we have taken up the study of Advaita Makaranda. Advaita Makaranda is a very wonderful text. I can't tell you, when I was reading it, it literally thrilled me. It's so beautiful. And why it is so beautiful is it is speaking directly about the truth about our being. It is directly talking of that. Advait Makarand itself means the honey of non-duality, the nectar of non-duality. Nectar is the word we use when honey is collected by honeybees, isn't it? So it is so sweet and juicy and full of sweetness. So that is what Advait Makarand. This is the honey of non-duality. So you may ask, what is non-duality? Non-duality means the not two. There is a single reality about existence. But we see a multiplicity all around. But the fact is, there is only one thing manifesting as various things. So Advait means this. Non-dual means there is no duality. There is no multiplicity. There is only one thing. You are seeing it as different. See, the common example given in Vedanta is, you can make so many things out of clay. In those days, it was all vessels were made out of clay, isn't it? In the Vedic times. So, when they actually, Harappa Mohenjo-daro was discovered and they excavated the soil, they only found pottery. So, everything was made of clay. Now, you can make so many things out of clay, but you are using only one substance to make so many things, isn't it? Even when you see a pot or a ladle or a spoon, whatever you see, you are only actually seeing clay. But your mind tells you you are seeing a pot, you are seeing a ladle. Now, this is a common example given in Vedanta to say only one consciousness is manifesting as different beings, objects, this beautiful earth, these trees and mountains and leaves and flowers, and only one consciousness is manifesting as its own object. This is non-dual philosophy, Advait. So this is the charam, or you can say the very peak of Vedantic understanding. When we talk of Vedant, what are we actually talking about? We are talking about the philosophy of the Upanishads. The philosophy of the Upanishads. What are the Upanishads? Upanishads are the most essential part of the Vedas. The essence of the Vedas. There are 4 Vedas. Scattered amongst them are these very important philosophical discussions and insights about the nature of existence, the nature of the human soul, the real human being, the unchanging aspect of ourselves. And this is encapsulated under the Upanishads. Upanishad actually means sitting close to a teacher and learning about the truth of existence. And Vedant is the sar, it is the essence of the Vedas, please remember. Many things you will find in the Vedas, but Vedant is the essence of the Vedas. The actual philosophical portion, the knowledge portion. So, when we are talking about Vedant, we are talking about the essence of the Vedas and the philosophy of the Upanishads. Vedanta Nama Upanishad Pramanam, which means the evidence provided by the Upanishads towards existential truth. That is Vedanta. Once this is clear to you, you will understand the importance of these texts. These texts are directly telling you the truth. This is not an Upanishad, Advait Makaranda, but it is a Prakarana Grantha, which means it is a very concise, very pithy, pointed treatise or short manual on Advait Vedanta. These Prakarana Granthas are so beautiful and so important. Directly they will tell you the truth. Really, the Prakarana Granthas which we have discussed, they are direct pointers to the truth, whether it is Atma Bodh, Drisha Vivek, Vivek Chudamani. So many are there. You must have heard Tattva Bodh, and Panchadashi. All these are Prakarana Granthas. Very important treatises which actually encapsulate the essentials of Vedanta philosophy. And every Prakarana Grantha has, its essential, indispensable elements. Anubandhas they are called. So every Prakarana Grantha has 4 elements. First is the Adhikari. Who should receive the knowledge of the Prakarana Grantha? Now, right now it's us, isn't it? We are going to discuss this Prakarana Grantha, Advaita Makaranda. So who's the Adhikari? The Adhikari is the one who is fit for this knowledge. So what is the fitness required for this knowledge? I will go through it quickly because I think you already know the preliminary steps for the study of Vedanta include Vivek, it's called Sadhan Chatushtay, 4-fold discipline. Vivek, Vairagya, Shatsampati and Mumukshutvam. These are required for the study of Vedanta. See, we are not after merely Dharma, Artha, Kama. We are after Moksha. These are Moksha Shastras. They are pointing to the highest aim of human life. We already have Dharma, Artha, Kama. The average ordinary man, first he works towards Dharma, Artha and Kama. Once this has been achieved to a certain measure, he's fairly stable in his life. Many of you close to retirement age, you're very well established in life, very stable within yourself. Now you are asking for the higher questions of spiritual life. Now, what is the truth about my own being? Where do I go after death? What is the purpose of human life? How do I develop devotion to God? These are called existential questions. So this is a natural evolution. Once Dharma, Artha, Kama is satisfied, the mind turns towards moksha. Right? So these are the moksha shastras. They are actually pointing out to you the nature of what is called salvation, the nature of the liberation of the human soul, the nature of liberation of the mind. So these, please put this there. So these shastras, that's why are very, very important. Very, very important. And this Prakarana Grantha, the first thing it will tell you is Adhikari is the one who is aspiring for this knowledge. So what is required of him? Vivek, the discriminating faculty. He's able to discern between the changing and unchanging, the real and the unreal. Second is he has Vairagya. Some amount of distance he keeps from the mere superficial, the mere sensual, that kind. He has that element in him. Third is what is that? Shat Sampati. These are the 6-fold group of qualities which are required for a spiritual aspirant. Shat Sampati it is called. Very precious treasures, inner treasures for the spiritual life. So they include Yam, Niyam, not Yam, Niyam. Shama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha and Samadhan. So something similar to Yam, Niyam. See, moral disciplines. Shama, Dama means Shama is control of your sense organs. Dama is control of the mind itself. Uparati is turning away from the merely superficial, your ability to turn away from that, to turn inward. Titiksha is forbearance, so that you keep up sadhana. And Shraddha is deep faith in one's own self, so that this knowledge is got. And Samadhan is focus, ability to steadily concentrate for long periods of time. So the spiritual aspirant is not chanchal. He is very steady, balanced within himself and concentrated, and with these disciplines in his hand. And after Shat Sampati, you have this Mumukshutvam, which is your yearning for higher knowledge, your yearning for liberation of the mind from its limitations. So these are 4-fold requirements of the Adhikari. Then only we become Adhikaris, not otherwise. Then the second element of the Prakarana Grantha or any Moksha Shastra is, it's called Vishay, which means what is the exact subject matter of the text we are going to study. So the subject matter of this text is, what is it? It is the knowledge of the self. Self-knowledge. The third element is sambandha. What is the relationship between the adhikari and the subject matter? The Vishay Vastu. So what is the relationship between these two? The subject matter is wanted by the adhikari. That is why we are studying it. Right? See, between this the treatise and the subject matter also, what is the relationship? That is the sambandha. According to this definition, the treatise contains the knowledge of the self. That is why the adhikari is studying it. And the fourth important element is, it is the prayojana. The prayojana is, you get illumination, you get liberation. So that is why we are studying this. And I told you, Prakarana Grantha many times has the essence of the Upanishads also. Direct, it will point out to the nature of the self. And again, so beautifully, like Drigdrishya Vivek, you take all these Prakarana Granthas, they are actually giving you the methods of Vedanta in very concise way. Not with elaborate sentences, not getting into polemics, or not trying to establish a philosophy. Direct knowledge, they speak directly to your soul, as it were. So they are not going even into epistemology or cosmology or even ontology for that matter. Not discussing philosophical aspects, just stating the direct truth. You must have heard of Ashtavakra Samhita. That is also a text like this. Directly giving you the truth. Now you have to meditate on it. After Shravan, there is Manan. After Manan, there is Nididhyasan. You meditate on it and grasp the import. And that leads to self-knowledge. So that is why these are all very precious texts. In fact, they are so precious that we don't, they are not very popular. Because you see, some of the most precious things in life may not be very popular at all, but they are life transforming. They raise your life into a different dimension altogether. So these granthas are like that. And they are direct pointers to truth, and that is why the illumination which the author has received, he is putting it into words in this grantha. In very simple words. You will see it clearly when we go through this particular work. Advaita Makaranda has 24 verses, or 28 actually. But amongst them, the first verse is a pranam mantra to his guru, and the last one is a eulogy, which means it's a work of praise. What this work gets you, it's about that. So you have 26 very solid verses on. It's the actual teaching of the Advaita Makaranda. And it's so profound and direct that when I was reading it, I really thought I was reading Ashtavakra Samhita. It is saying it like something like that. You see, when we go through the verses. And you must know how these authors came to this knowledge also. See, in Vedanta, you get knowledge by insight. What is the nature of an insight? Insight itself means undeliberated knowledge coming directly and spontaneously from you. Which means in the past, maybe you have done long deliberation, who knows, on this, because Manan leads directly into Nididhyasan. But the actual knowledge comes through insight. The mind just, see at what point you know, even if it's a mathematical problem you're solving, at what point you know the solution, that is called an insight. So this also comes as an insight. These are all, you see, as we go through the text, you'll see, they are very insightful. Direct, he's seeing the truth and putting it down. The author of this work is Lakshmidhara Swami. Now, we really don't know who he is because there's not much given about the author. Many of these authors, they didn't leave behind their names and who they were. Lakshmidhara Kavi, his name is. And some people have said something about his life, but see, I'm using the text which has been translated and commented upon by Swami Atmarupananji, a great monk of our order, Ramakrishna order. And you'll see when you go through the commentary how beautifully he has explained every verse. So we don't know who exactly this author is, because they never, even the Upanishadic authors were like that. The rishis never left even their names. But it's very profound knowledge that we can know. So this Lakshmidhar Kavi starts the Nectar of Non-Duality, Advaita Makaranda, with this starting verse where he is paying homage to his Guru and to the Lord. And then he begins his teaching. So just go to the first verse. Kataksha Kirana Achanta Namata Mohabdaye Namaha Anantananda Krishnaya Jagan Mangala Murtaye. Salutations to Anantananda Krishna, the embodiment of auspiciousness to the world, who by a ray proceeding from his mere glance destroys the great ocean of delusion to those who surrender to him. Now his Guru's name is Anantananda, and his Ishtadevata has been mentioned here to be Krishna. So he first pays obeisance to them. See, without Guru, spiritual knowledge does not come. That is why always the next obeisance is given to the Guru. For the simple reason, if you directly go to the text, they may appear very abstruse. But if you just follow the explanation from the words of a teacher, your mind will create the vrittis of that text by which you know. So it helps always. So his first salutation is to the Guru, and his Guru is so powerful, his mere glance destroys the great ocean of delusion. See, in spiritual life, spiritual knowledge comes along with spiritual power, because it is not vritti jnana. It is not just a kind of ideation about these things. It comes with an investiture of your vital energies. So spiritual knowledge comes with spiritual power, real spiritual knowledge. So as a result, the Guru can put down all our strange ways of the mind. He can put down the mind itself and take you directly into this knowledge. That is why the salutation to the Guru. The lives of the great masters are the greatest example of these things. In the life of Sri Ramakrishna, many times how he would teach, he would be in samadhi. He would be in the highest state of consciousness, and those sitting close to him caught something just by looking at him. They were stunned into silence. Their own mind imbibed the God consciousness which he radiated. He didn't even have to talk and teach. And all masters have done this. Raman Maharshi's case, I can tell you, if people would ask for his verbal teaching, he would say, the most powerful teaching is my silence, if you can catch it. He would say, give me your mind and I will strike it down. Give the mind to the Guru will show it its place. In spiritual life itself means the spirit has come to the forefront. You have become deeply aware, and it's not merely about thinking. Thought has its own limitations. It's a mental faculty. In the West, thought is seen as everything. It's the source of knowledge, and in fact, when they are talking of consciousness, they are talking of conscious thought processes in Western psychology, but not so here. In the East, we are also doing consciousness studies in various ways in so many universities. So here, by consciousness is meant pure consciousness without content. It is not about thought. So is this state possible? See, can you be fully aware without a thought process? Now, in places like this, you should check this out. Is it possible? This is the definition of yoga. to be intensely aware without a thought process. How long can you maintain that state? And what do you get out of it? Most people, because they are only used to the mind, they will feel, what can you get out of it if it's like stopping mind? No, no, no. You will get a lot out of it if you are fully aware and without a deflecting thought process. So try it out and see, and then you will understand what pure consciousness means. That it is possible. In fact, consciousness alone is our real nature and not mentation, not thought. You may be thinking, I'm thinking of consciousness. You are not. You are thinking in consciousness. Is this making sense? Our real nature is always pure, luminous awareness. That is the very crux of existence. And it is also of the nature of consciousness. And when do you call awareness consciousness? When it is pure awareness, you call it consciousness. In the Indian paradigm, when awareness is utterly pure, it is called consciousness. And that is the very nature of existence. And by itself, it is joyful and blissful. See, he will be telling us in the next few verses that by myself, I am so dear. I am so beloved. I am so happy. Because that is the nature of pure awareness. So you see, if you really want to be happy by yourself, you must touch the state of pure awareness. Then you understand it's not even a state. That is my real being. The mind, see, language and mind are always limited. They will give you wrong explanations. Now suppose I say a state of consciousness. It is actually utterly confusing language. It's not a state. It's my source. It's my being. Consciousness is my very being. States belong to the mind. And so they will be all, so they reflect some amount of awareness, and that illuminates your thought process. And so your thoughts appear very nice and luminous. So you think mind is real. So that's how the delusion proceeds. But my own real nature, and you must actually feel it here, it is only awareness. Thoughts move in and out of that awareness. So ability to maintain this state of my pure being. Again, I'm using the word state. It's not a state. That is what you have to catch, essentially. It is so true that you don't even have to argue about. States of mind will change. Prakriti is chanchala. She will keep changing. But consciousness does not change. Now, first question you may put when I am telling you something like this is, Mataji, what about coma and unconsciousness? And there's no consciousness. So this is again, the mind is giving us this idea. Please see. Actually speaking, the state of what you are calling unconsciousness is the state of awareness with no object to reflect it. Awareness of nothing, you can say. Not absence of awareness. Awareness is ever there. When it has nothing to reflect upon, you find a state of unconsciousness or coma, or there are times when you say you feel unaware. That's the interpretation of the mind. You are never unaware, actually. Awareness ever is. If it doesn't have something to reflect upon, if it has no object, it will appear unconscious to the mind. Check this out also and see. You don't have to swallow what I say. Check it out in your life. Vedanta is so deep and it is so true that no matter how you check it out, you will come to the same conclusion. Only we haven't given this enough attention. So when you are under anesthesia, you feel I was unconscious. How do you know you were unconscious? Itself is due to subliminal consciousness. How do you feel a sense of unconsciousness? Which is untrue. Your awareness did not have content to reflect upon at that time. That's all happened. You were aware of nothing. So you thought you were unaware. So your mind mechanism has to be put in place. See, this is an important thing in Vedanta. A real sadhak understands at some point mind does not exist and mind misinterprets. The existential truths of life have to be, you have to become one with it. You can't use a mind to interpret it. And the truth of your own existence is not attained or acquired. It is only recognized because it is ever present. Even when our confused mind is giving various interpretations, you are the self. When you have no knowledge of the self also, you are the self. When you have knowledge of the self also, you are the self. The self is untouched by mind. You thought mind was the supreme mechanism for knowledge. That was the problem. Isn't it? See, they have gone to the very depths of knowing. The very depths of knowing is the depths of being. So this is pure existential research. So what is the subject matter of Vedanta? The truth of my own existence. No other texts are going to give you this. Believe me. You can study all the psychology and philosophy available in the world. They are always studying object. Mind as object, thought as object, your attention faculty, emotion, will, and the world of objects. That is all. Nobody is studying existence itself, consciousness itself. So these are then very precious literature. See, this is the glory of Vedanta. The glory of our spiritual heritages. It has gone to a level where even, the mind shies to peek into that level. They have gone beyond mind. So check and see. You go into the net and try to see mind sciences, research on consciousness studies in the West. Check and see everything. And you'll find that this idea of consciousness, this understanding that essentially consciousness, which is my own nature, is without content. It is of the very nature of existence. And I'm always that. And anything else I'm trying to, aim at is through the mind. And so I will not have complete knowledge of consciousness through mind. That's when you drop mind. You stop relying on mind to give you supreme knowledge. You give things the place they deserve. See, this is the glorious stepping off from Sankhya to Vedanta. Sankhya is still giving ontological reality to mind, but Vedanta will not give. Advaita Vedanta never. Because mind actually does not exist, When you're thinking, you posit a sort of receptacle to your thought process and you call it mind. When you're not thinking, there's no mind. Check this out also and see. In the absence of a thought process, is there a mind or no mind? All this you must try out. This is the essential truth about our being. So, mind is an assumption. There's no ontology. Ontology means what is the truth about something. There's no ontological reality to mind. It's not that mind is secreting thoughts like liver secretes bile. No. If thoughts are present, you posited something called mind. When thoughts are not there, there's no mind. But your awareness, there's no question of whether it is there or not there. It is only in your awareness that you do even mind science. You do neuroscience. You cogitate whether there is mind or no mind. So your awareness is never in question. It is so fundamental to existence that we miss it. The most fundamental things in life we miss. We don't pay attention because it's always there, no? Attention itself is a faculty of mind. So it can flicker. So don't use attention and mind to come to self-knowledge. That's the ultimate Advaita Vedanta. It will not even rely on mind. Any process it will not rely upon. Which is perfectly acceptable, isn't it? Knowing the nature of the self. But we being what we are, we thinking we are the Jivatman encased in a body-mind complex, we have to refine all these different layers of our being to go into self-knowledge. So all these preliminaries are introduced, right? And you fine-tune your mind and develop this vichar shakti, purify the mind. All this is prescribed. But actually speaking, there's no connection between consciousness and mind. So, but don't assume that, oh, in that case, I don't have to do anything about the mind to go into self-knowledge. Don't make that mistake. Because even to understand that there is no real connection, you need a refined mind. Right? So, it's a graded path. Let's go properly. See, that's why sadhana, chatushtaya and all are required for Vedanta. Now, let me dive into what the text says. Okay, after this salutation to his guru, see the very next verse, the second verse, how thrilling it is. Just see. Aham asmi sada bhami kadachin na aham apriyaha brahmaivaham ata siddham sachidananda lakshanam. Aham asmi, I always am. Yes, isn't it true? I always am. Do you ever think I'm not at some time? Does it occur to you ever? See, I always am. Then sada bhami, I eternally shine forth as awareness. And na aham apriyaha, kadachin na aham, which means never am I non-dear or non-beloved. I'm always dear. I am Sachidananda. Thus, it is proven that I am verily Brahman, existence, consciousness, bliss itself. See, when you apply this understanding to your own being, your own self, you come into real spiritual knowledge. This is the help you get from the mind. You apply this understanding to your own being. You will come into real Advaita Vedanta. I am, I ever exist, I shine forth as consciousness and I am always dear. This is Sachidananda actually. And that verily is my own being. That's why I am Brahman. See, different philosophical systems will give you different paradigms based on what exactly we want in spiritual life. The dualistic paradigm is you are separate and God is separate. He's a very mighty big being out there, somewhere on the clouds, in some heaven, in Golok or in Vaikuntha somewhere. And through devotion to him, I gradually progress in spiritual life. Devotion is the main thing for the devotee. He doesn't understand anything else by progress. If I can remain seeped in him, his bhav, that is the dualistic devotional attitude. Then you have the Vishishtadvaitik attitude also. I am part of him. He is the luminosity of pure being. I am part of him. But Advaita Vedanta will say, see, Aham asmi, I am Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. I am verily him. There is no difference. Every other difference is imagined. If I identify with the body-mind complex, I think I am the jiva. See, it's all a thought process. Please see. Do you ever have experience of being a jiva? Tell me, are you ever completely aware of the body? Completely conscious of the body? We can never be. Yes, we didn't even know what organs are there in the body until medical science told us. See, the third person perspective always. Isn't it? So, which means what? I am not aware of the body at all. But awareness, I am always. You are always self-aware, but not essentially aware of body or mind. What does this mean? You are not the jiva. You are appearing as a jiva. You are awareness appearing as a jiva to your mind. See, you must, I'll tell you, zoom into the essential. That is Advaita Vedanta. And drop whatever is untrue. Otherwise, mind will take you for a ride, I'm telling you, no? It's very easy to say, but I am a bound soul, I am a jiva, and I am yearning for liberation. Check and see first if you are a jiva. You never were. We don't understand this simple truth because it's only a habit of thinking. From childhood, you know, you were shown the mirror and told, this is you. And you were given a name and told that you are only that name. You are a separate identity and individual. Nobody ever told us, see whether you are fundamentally deeply aware or you are so and so. Nobody told us your persona is only a mask you are wearing. That's why all our problem began there. Then we believed growing evolution means building on our persona. So we did that all through life. Now we are asking for who am I? So Advaita Vedanta is straight away pointing to the fact that your persona is only something you are wearing like a mask. But the fact that you are self-aware entity it's incontrovertible, You can never doubt it. Tell me, I'll ask you some questions and you yourself answer. Okay. Tell me, do you feel fundamentally self-aware or fundamentally body conscious? Self-aware. Even your mentation and whatever sensation, thought process, everything happens where? In your awareness. That fundamental is the source of your being. But we don't want to identify with that. Or we are not used to thinking in this way. Do you find body in your awareness or awareness in your body? Huh? Body in awareness? No. You find awareness in the body. Think once again and tell me. Where in the body you find awareness? You find always body in your awareness. You are fundamentally aware, and so you find you are wearing a body, you are thinking particular thoughts. See to what an extent we have reversed the process. You must think deeply about these questions. This is called Vedanta Vichar. Fundamental existential questions about life. If we are not successful with this, we won't enter Vedanta, okay? See, I'm looking at my hand. So am I aware of my hand or is my hand aware of me? I am aware of my hand, which means this is an object of my perception. Which means I am the awareness that sees body and mind as object. Any experience will tell you this. I am hungry, which means stomach, I am able to see that stomach is empty, which means I am separate from the body in some way, isn't it? Any way you think, you will come to Vedanta. Only you should think. Not just believe and emote and identify and do all these things. You must think correctly. Shravan and then Manan and then Nididhyasan. When actually you encounter Vedanta in the first person, you will feel, arey, something so obvious, how I missed. That's all you feel. You don't feel, I came across a mystic light. No. You are that mystic light. We are always consciousness. Not that we are conscious or partially conscious, now I became more conscious. You are always full consciousness. If the mind is tamasic, it will reflect little of that consciousness and you feel you are partially conscious. If it reflects more light, you will feel you are more conscious. But you are never mind. You are always consciousness itself. See how the mind takes us for a ride, I told you. It tricks you into believing you are that. So if you are equating consciousness studies with minds, the different states of your mind, that is insufficient study. Please see. So the only way you can realize this is in first person experience. No book or talk or any YouTube lecture can give you this knowledge. It can point out to this knowledge, and if you are intense enough, you will come to it. But it is always in the first person that you will experience it. This is pure first person research. If you are more interested in this, you can watch a talk called There are many talks on this, but there is one called Research Methodologies in Subjective Sciences, given at IIT Delhi. Research Methodologies in Subjective Sciences, where we are outlining this particular research methodology. Technically, it is called existential phenomenology. Even if you basically want to understand what phenomenology is, you can go to that simple video. There's a small video called Phenomenology. You have to give the name, Pravrajika Divyanandaprana, you'll get the video. So get used to this kind of thinking. This is Vedanta Vichar. And it will take you directly into the knowledge of the self. There are no complications. It's the direct method, I'm telling you. When mind kicks in, all kinds of psychological, philosophical complications will come in. The truth is always direct. Simple as your own existence, Vivekananda used to say. And Advaita Vedanta, its glory is, it puts truth in the simplest way possible. Straight it is telling you, Are, you are that. But we'll say, no. I cannot, how can I be Brahman? That's our problem. So you see, Aham asmi sada bhami kadachin naham apriyaha and brahmaivaham. That is why I am verily Brahman. Ata siddham sachidananda lakshanam. Because my own unchanging characteristics are the characteristics of Brahman. You can't even actually use the word characteristics, because that will imply some kind of distinction between other characteristics. Existence, consciousness and bliss are not characteristics. They are the essence of Brahman. They are not qualities. They are not attributes. That is the essential nature of Brahman. So this is what is being said. See, that's why I told you, they are going to speak directly to the soul. Now, when we are talking of consciousness in the West, I told you many times they are referring to conscious processes of thought and studying that. And you can come to a lot of relative knowledge when you study something like that. But when they are talking of consciousness in Indian philosophical systems, especially in Vedanta, it's a totally different paradigm. Do you see? Contentless awareness is what they are talking about. And it is because it is our own real nature, our own being. You cannot doubt it. All that we need to learn is methods to recognize the truth that already is there. That much you can learn. But you cannot, I told you, if when the insight is generated, you have no doubt about it. Usually, that to generate that insight requires great clarity, inner clarity, clarity of mind. Otherwise, that insight doesn't come. That is why then all the spiritual discipline and everything. But knowledge itself, the truth itself, doesn't require anything to reveal itself. It is already self-revealed. Shankaracharya put it very beautifully. He used to say, you don't require a lighted lamp to reveal another lighted lamp. Do you require? See, one in Diwali, you lit so many lamps. So one lamp was fully lighted, aglow with so much light. Will you need another lighted lamp to reveal the light of that lamp? No. It is self-revelatory, isn't it? Because it's lighted. Your consciousness is like that. Consciousness is self-revelatory. Consciousness is self-revelatory. It doesn't require any other process of thought, mind, will, attention to reveal it. If you are asking for another process, it means you haven't seen its self-revealing nature. That is why Advaita Vedanta does not rely on any other philosophy. Which is perfectly acceptable, isn't it? See, truth is ever shining. Truth is self-revelatory. To be able to see this is the whole point in what we call sadhana. Raman Maharshi used to say this, that sadhana is only to remove obstacles to the mind which make you think you are not realized. This is the truth. But at first glance, if you tell somebody, "Arey, you are already that man, don't worry," he won't believe it. This is how we have made ourselves. Yes, no, we require a timetable of tapas. Then only I will realize it. It's there in the Yoga Vashishta, it's very beautiful. There is this king and queen, very nice couple. Uh, that queen's name is Chudala, and the king's name is Shikidwaj or something. Hmm? I forgot his name. Shikidwaj. So this Chudala has already attained self-knowledge, and she's carrying on her duties so wonderfully, absolutely without any agitation over anything, and always smiling, always happy, fully contented within herself, and radiating a peace around her. And the king looks at her and feels she's such a luminous being. I should also be like that. So let me go and do tapasya. And then he hands over the kingdom to her and goes into the forest to do tapasya. And he sets up a timetable of tapas. I told you, because unless I do this, my mind and body will not be able to intuit this truth. And long he does that, a lot of tapasya, but he doesn't come to self-knowledge. Then Chudala one day comes to visit him, and then there's a conversation between the two, and then she laughs and says, "O king, you are trying to attain to that which is already attained. You are already that. Now how do I convince your mind?" See, the mind will not get convinced, okay? Only the insight has to be generated, so that at some point your mind just understands. That's all. The huge transforming understanding comes into it. Otherwise, it will always tell you, no, unless we do this, it won't happen. See, this is not to mean that I am saying sadhana is not required. I am not saying that. I will never say that. To generate that insight itself, a lot of things are required. Okay? But what I am trying to say is, at the point of knowledge, nothing is required. Truth does not rely on something else to be revealed. So then she tells him that you are already that, just recognize this. And by the power of her spirituality, he gains that insight. So it's a very beautiful story, but don't undermine sadhana. Just because we have some insight into Advaita Vedanta, we should never undermine sadhana. It's like, how we learn to walk. All those steps were important, isn't it? So it's like that. Pay respect to everything, because when a great life is created, it always will look back and see every little stone which has helped it build its life. It will pay respect to that. So please remember, all the great spiritual masters of our land have respected every spiritual tradition. Don't think one is lower, one is higher. There's no lower and higher. That was required for that soul at that moment. So everything it all comes together. See, this is the beauty of Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma. So many paths, so many methods, so many philosophies, so many customs and traditions. It's the world's biggest unorganized religion. No central organization to control all the things. But yet everything went well with it. And never clashed with science, because Vedanta is very scientific. So great advantages are there. Since we are already in this heritage, you pick up the best of it and bring everything together. Don't criticize any path, that is why. Everything was important. So now we go to the third verse. See, all such high-strung verses they are. Mayyeva udeti chid vyomni jagat gandharva pattanam ato aham na katham brahma sarvajnam sarvakaranam. See, in me alone, the space of pure consciousness, the sky palace world has arisen. How then can I not be Brahman, the all-knowing and the primal cause? Hmm? Everything is perceived only in your consciousness, isn't it? Hmm? You perceive anything without awareness? Tell me. Hmm? So that's what he's saying. This entire world mansion around us, it's all in my consciousness. If you were an unaware entity, non-aware entity, do you think there would be a world around you? Which means it depends on my consciousness to be revealed as that. Doesn't that mean that I am the cause? This is the effect. This is what he's saying. You are Brahman in your essential nature. Now you may argue, why Mataji, even if I am not there, the world will continue to be there. That is not the point that is being made. In consciousness, perception takes place. This is the point that is being made. Consciousness is required for perception to take place. Yes? Hmm? That is why in Vedanta, see, you must understand this important philosophical point. They will tell you that nothing has independent existence in itself. It depended on your consciousness and the instrument you used to gauge or to produce that perception to be perceived as that particular thing. Yes, nothing has intrinsic existence in itself apart from consciousness. See that green table there. That green table. Actually, it is only wood. Appearing as table to your mind and senses. It's an interpretation of your mind, actually. And the green also is an interpretation, right? Because there's nothing called color. It's electromagnetic radiation which reflects off that surface, and your mind interprets it as green because it falls in that particular radiation. Physics will tell you this, isn't it? Which means what? There's nothing called a green table there. But in conjunction with my mind and senses and their education and their ability to interpret, I see it as a green table. It's only wood. When you are seeing the pot, you are seeing only clay. Your mind interprets it as pot. When you're seeing the green table, you're seeing only wood. Your mind interprets it as a green table. Which means that nothing has intrinsic existence as that particular thing. Intrinsic existence means what? It's its own nature. Its own nature. The nature of that piece of wood is not green. Your equipment interprets it as green. Am I right? Hmm? When electromagnetic radiation of a particular wavelength passes through your eyes, the mind interprets it as green. When this is the condition of the physical universe, how can you say it is out there for me to see as that thing? It's so with everything, not just color, with texture, with flavor, with uh, the physical dimensions, the sense of touch. It's nothing but pressure falling on your nerves, which gives you the sense of its texture. So it's completely your interpretation. Mm. Which means what? Nothing is out there as it appears to be. The world is an appearance. हाँ, इसीलिए तो कहते हैं कि ये सब माया है. See, that's one favorite thing that Advaita Vedanta says. However our mind may revolt to it, it is a fact. It is an interpretation of the... See, there is a philosophy called solipsism. I don't know if you have heard of it. Anybody may know it. That it's anathema to the West. They don't believe in it. They will say that, well, the object already exists and so I'm seeing it. But this kind of understanding will tell you object does not already exist. It gets created by your process of perception. Drishti te shrishti ho rahi hai. It's called Drishti Shrishti Vad in Vedanta. This is the theory of perception in Vedanta. You are creating your object of perception. Consciousness creates its own object and tries to see it as separate from it and enjoy it. Consciousness does not do that, the mind does that. But consciousness creates its own object. There is no objective world out there. See, this much if we understand, it puts the whole onus on the discovery of pure being, isn't it? On consciousness, on Brahman. So that is why, this particular spiritual heritage invested all its greatest minds and time and energy on this knowledge. The Vedic age was characterized by, it was a knowledge society for answering these questions. So actually speaking, if you analyze and see, the objective universe as we see spread around us does not exist as we are seeing it. You know that green tree, if there was a cat here, it would see it as grey tree. So is it green or grey? My brown table is black table for her. So is it brown or black? It's not a table at all for her, the cat, first of all. You see to what an extent we create our universe. This is what I want you to see. See, when you're watching a movie, you are passing through so many kinds of experiences and emotions. So there's a car chase going on, you are also swerving. But actually, is anything happening there? The only thing real there is the screen. Everything else is made up. It's impinging on your senses in such a way, it appears to be like a thrilling car chase or some kind of a very climax is going on in some movie. And you're feeling all kinds of things, sensations within yourself. Right? But the only reality there is the screen. Everything else was projected. So also this is a vast projection. Only reality is consciousness. Does this make sense? This is exactly what is going on, but we only saw the movie and got, consumed by it. So we see only what our senses tell us, what our mind interprets for us, and we don't research into consciousness at all. When you don't know the screen, the movie will affect you terribly. For the next 1 week, you are brooding over the different scenes of the movie. So for the next few lifetimes, we keep brooding over Maya. Yes. We don't know what is birth. We don't know what is death. We don't know what is life. We don't know what is existence and consciousness. And we are passing through life. See, 60, 70 years we have been around. What do we know? The glory of knowledge is the more you know, the more you will understand how less we know. Real knowledge it puts you in place. And those who really don't know anything will claim they know. The more you will know, the limitation of knowledge will be brought home to you. What you are calling knowledge. This kind of objective knowledge is very limited. See today how the universe is explained. You know it, no? It's how much? 96% dark matter, dark energy. What is dark matter, dark energy? Nobody knows. So how do you explain the universe? Your simple perception theory will tell you that things are not what they appear to be. See, when Advaita Vedanta says this world is an appearance, they are talking a lot of sense. You must look at it closely. Anything, when you look at it closely, it will change its nature. Yes? See, when I look at this from far, it appears like a solid entity. You go deep into it, it's electrons in motion at such a pace, it appears solid. Solidity is an appearance. Thakur used to give such beautiful examples. Ocean appears to be blue from a distance. You take water in your hand, is it blue? Colorless. Mother Kali appears to be dark from a distance. You enter into that consciousness, it is impersonal. You must go deep into something. See, knowledge means this. The way to get knowledge is you cut off everything and go deep into it. Then you know the thing, then you come and you play your role in life. But I never dive deep into anything. There's nothing more purifying than knowledge. Knowing reality as it is purity. Nahi jnanena sadusham pavitram iha vidyate. Bhagavad Gita says there is nothing more purifying than knowledge. But who knows this? That's why yoga samsiddha kalenatmani pashyanti. The real yogi only knows this. Nothing more purifying than knowledge. So here knowledge has reached its very peak. And that is why these texts are so very powerful. Now, you see, so that is how he is seeing it. How then can I not be Brahman, the all-knowing, the primal cause? In me alone, the space of pure consciousness, the sky palace of the world arises. Then you see this one. Na swata, I'll go slow so you follow it carefully. There's a lot of sandhi here. Na swata pratyabhijnanat niramshatvat na chanyataha. You split it, the way I'm chanting it. Na cha ashraya vinashat me vinashaha syad anashrayat. What he's trying to say is, self-destruction is impossible for me because I have recognized myself. Nor is destruction from another possible as I have no parts. Nor can I be destroyed by the destruction of my substratum as I have none. Which means to say, I am one integrated whole. That is the nature of consciousness. I am not this body made of different parts. I am not this mind which has a substratum of awareness. No. I am that consciousness itself in which body and mind appear. And when I am in the deluded state, I tend to identify with them. I tend to identify with them in the deluded state. Not that there is a soul in the body, somewhere in the heart, or the substratum of the mind is awareness. See, all dualistic philosophies will give you such ideas. That is the beginning of, our great journey. So when one person is thinking he is the body, they will say, in your heart is the soul. Our Khonsa kids, so beautiful. If you ask them, Bhagwan kahan hai? They say, yaha. Bhagwan hriday mein hai. They are so sure because they are kids, no? They have been told that. So they believe there's a God sitting there in the heart. So like that, when you believe you are the body, then God obviously is somewhere located in your heart. Now, are you the body is the primary question you should put. See, you may be wearing a cloth. You are wearing a salwar kameez. Are you the salwar kameez? No. You are wearing a body. You are not the body. That's what they are telling you. And please see this. You are such a self-aware entity that it is only in your awareness that you perceive your body. It is only in your awareness that you perceive your thoughts, your emotions, everything. Which means awareness is the primary fact about you. How can we miss this out? Tell me. So all the time we were thinking soul is in the heart and heart is in the body. So somewhere in the heart the soul or God is located. So these were all childish ideas given to us when we didn't understand the primacy of awareness, consciousness. Isn't it? Like a box within a box within a box. Your soul is like that. We can reduce the soul to very material terms, We're capable of it. We have done many things like that. So, understanding that it is in my awareness alone that perception of body and mind also is happening. Interpretation of the world is happening. And that is why my primal being, the primordial cause of all existence is only consciousness. This is Advaita Vedanta. So I cannot be destroyed. There are no different parts of my being to be destroyed. There is no substratum to be destroyed. I am ever the indestructible, ever existent, never perishing, ever luminous, pure being, consciousness, Brahman. the indestructible Lord of the universe. That is my real nature. I'm not even a part of Him. It feels shy to say I am Him, but it's the truth. We must get over this shyness. This is Advaita Vedanta. You don't have to announce it, but know it for yourself. The infinite power of the universe is behind me. So I can do anything and everything. See, this is what is called Shraddha, Astikya Buddhi. Deep faith in our unchanging being. My body is limited, mind is limited. But the ocean of awareness which I am is unlimited. I am not the wave and the bubble. This faith is the Shraddha in Advaita Vedanta. Astikya Buddhi. I affirm the reality about me. This is itself a liberation. If you begin your morning this way, sadhus begin their morning with Aham Brahmasmi, okay? No matter what the state of your body or mind, you must bring this thought into your head. For the first 15 minutes after you wake up, Aham Brahmasmi Aham. Because that's the truth about you. And you don't know how the mind functions after that. It will not give anything much value other than spirituality. So begin your day like that. These are all things to be practiced, isn't it? And then, of course, you bring in, many of you are devotional by nature. You bring in devotional practices, do your sadhana, do everything. But this background knowledge of the reality of your being should be there. Yes, you must know the truth. And the truth will set you free. This is the message of the Upanishads actually. That's why Vivekananda popularized it. He opened it for everyone. 100 years back, they would not have allowed you to study Upanishads. It was esoteric knowledge. Only yogis and jnanis and the Himalayan caves, they had access to it. Today you will get it for 50 rupees. It's available to all of us. Why? It's the truth about you. You should know the truth and then you apply as much as you can in life. But why should you not know? Why should you not know? Recently somebody asked me the question, can women chant Omkar? Are you are already Om. You only think you are a woman, that's all. Why should you not chant Omkar? Without thinking you are a woman or a man or whatever you want to think, chant Omkar and it will have its full results, full fruit. Why do you make identification primary? These are all very silly. Our whole way of thinking is very silly, I'm telling you, from the Vedantic standpoint. So we must change these ways. Assert the truth about yourself. At least to yourself you should assert it. Vivekananda very much wanted this, He used to say, the future will see the masses living Vedanta and it will come through women. Vivekananda said this. The highest possible empowerment of our womanhood has been given by Swamiji. You must transcend these ideas completely. That's the real maturity of human life. That doesn't mean we go out fighting for equality everywhere. Play your particular role, your particular niche wherever you are. Follow your dharma, but let this knowledge be there in the background. See, knowledge is liberation, isn't it? Anything else liberates the mind? Everything else binds the mind. Knowledge will liberate. It will do its work. So keep this as background knowledge and follow your dharma in life. This is the message of Vedanta. So I think time is up. We'll end here. We'll continue further. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.